All right, traders, welcome to my weekly outlook. Thank you guys for taking some time out of your Monday to check out what I think is going to happen this week in the markets. So if you're watching live right now, you'll notice today is Monday. I had some obligations yesterday. I wasn't able to do the weekly outlook on Sunday yesterday, so I still wanted to get on here today and hop on and give you guys my outlook. I know a lot of you guys really look forward to and rely on my weekly outlook to help you with your analysis each week. So I hope I can bring some value to you guys. You guys will notice I actually have 7 different pairs over here to the right, or 7 different instruments that we're going to look at. I'm interested in all of these or have some sort of directional bias on all of these. And today's weekly outlook is actually not going to be very long. It's going to be pretty quick. It's not going to be very long at all, just because if you've been following along with any of the recent weekly outlooks over the past month or so, you'll know that my bias on specifically the US dollar, which is what I've been trading for the past couple of weeks and really been focused on even the past couple of months, is just the US dollar. The market is moving exactly as I want it to. So I'll come back to the charts. We'll get into the technicals. I'll give you guys my bias. I'll tell you guys exactly what I'm thinking and exactly where I think price is going to go for some pairs. If you haven't before I get started, if you haven't already, please do me a huge favor and smash the like button on this video right now. It helps me out a ton, helps us get this content out to other people that would want to see this. So I definitely appreciate it. But without further ado, let's jump into things, guys. So starting off with the economic calendar this week, this is a really busy week, okay? So if you have your whiteboard, if you have your trading journal, you have whatever you're taking your notes on during today's webinar, make sure you're writing these couple things down. So just to recap, last Wednesday, we saw the Federal Reserve meet, and they decided to keep interest rates in the U.S. the same, all right? Now, with that, they also released a statement, and if you guys went through that statement, essentially, they were a little bit dovish on the US dollar, and if you've been keeping up with the Fed and what they're planning on doing, basically a rate cut is coming for the US dollar, hence why USD has fallen over the past week, which we're going to look at in just a moment, which is exactly what I've been expecting it to do. But besides that, we saw, basically a dovish Fed, all right? So a little bit of a bearish Fed. Now, on Tuesday, so tomorrow, we have Jerome Powell, who's the chairman of the Federal Reserve, speaking, all right? And he's going to be speaking on that meeting from last Wednesday, definitely talking about just the overall sentiment and direction of the Fed and interest rate decisions. So that is very key. There's a lot of other red folders you'll see. You'll see OPEC meetings are starting on Tuesday as well. So we may see oil move a little bit. So there's a lot of things going on this week early on. We also have Tuesday evening, we have the Reserve Bank of New Zealand with an interest rate decision as well. A couple other red folders on Wednesday I'm not going to go over, but Thursday, this is probably the biggest thing this entire week. It's probably bigger than the interest rate decision coming out from the RBNZ, and it's probably bigger than anything else I think that's coming out this week, even bigger than Mr. Powell speaking, bigger than the consumer confidence, bigger than everything is the quarter one final GDP coming out. Where is it? All right, here, Thursday morning. All right, it's quarter over quarter final GDP. So this is going to be the final GDP for quarter one. So if you guys don't know how GDP works, it comes out there's not just one GDP that comes out. Okay. In fact, it may actually show you right here, so you guys can see. Yeah, it shows it right here, just so you guys can see. I'm not just talking random stuff. This is all right here. So there's 3 GDPs that come out: advanced, preliminary, and final GDP. And final GDP is what we have coming out, and this is in case a quarter over quarter. So this is gonna be for quarter one, okay? And I think it actually says here, released quarterly about 85 days after the quarter ends. So that's why it's coming out so late, is because it's the final GDP. But this is big for the US dollar. So that's something to keep in mind on Thursday. And also another thing that I think a lot of people are going to kind of overlook a little bit, but something just to point out is that we're going to have the G20 meetings on Thursday and Friday. Okay. Now, one thing I just want to point out is last week, President Trump mentioned that he's going to be having an extended meeting with President Xi, who's the president of China, next week, or well, now this week, at the G20 meeting. And I was basically going to pick up the trade wars or the trade balance or the trade, not trade balance, but just the trade debates between U.S. and China, as I'm sure. You have to be sleeping under a rock if you guys have not heard. Even if you don't live in the U.S. or if you don't live in China, anywhere in the world, I'm sure you've probably heard somewhere on the news, or if you're just involved with Forex at all, you've probably heard about U.S. and China having like trade wars or just trade debates back and forth. Okay, so that's gonna be coming out. Only reason I wanted to point that out is because of that specific thing. There is the fact that President Trump specifically mentioned that he's going to be having a special extended meeting with President Xi. Now, if you guys are familiar with the G20 meetings are, by the way, it's kind of like a summit. It's a meeting where it's 20 different countries that get together. And they basically just decide what's going to be best for the group of them. I think a good analogy to look at the G20 meetings would be kind of like almost like the United Nations in a sense, right? Like the United Nations, it's not like one country. It's like all these countries that get together and they decide what's the best for them, from like that's kind of like a world peace kind of standpoint. This is like a financial standpoint, but kind of like the same thing, all right? So it's just a bunch of countries that get together. I think there's a nice little description right here. So it includes the G7 nations, which is Canada, Italy, France, Germany, Japan, and the UK, and the US. It says the meetings are closed to the press, but officials usually talk with reporters throughout the day, and a formal statement covering policy shifts and meeting objectives is released after the meetings have concluded. Okay. But you see G20 meetings are attended by finance ministers and central banks from 20 industrialized nations. Okay. And then to end off the week, there's some month-over-month GDP for Canadian dollars, some current account for the pound. So there's a lot of red folders that I didn't even go over right now, and a lot of red folders that I did go over. So you can see that this is definitely going to be a very volatile week, following a very volatile week last week also. Okay, last week was pretty crazy also. All right. Now let's get into the good stuff, guys. I know this stuff. I know nobody really wants to look at that stuff. Everybody wants to see what the good trades are, what we should be trading. So, because if I don't know who's watching these. I know a lot of you guys watch these like every single week religiously. Some of you guys, it might be your very first time following me. So if you don't already, or if you're not already in my Telegram, there's a link to my completely free public Telegram in the description. You can join it. I have over 1,000 people in there. I've been running it for over 3 years. That one Telegram, you can scroll all the way back and see messages from 2016 from myself in there. But anyways, I posted back on the 9th. I have the link pulled up right here. So if you go to that Telegram, it's completely public. You guys can go and fact check me on this. On the 9th, and you can even see on TradingView right here, it's stamped June 9th. I posted this outlook right here for Euro USD. And this is the weekly chart. Keep in mind, guys, I'm primarily a swing trader, okay? So I don't do a ton of intraday trading. I will when it calls for it, or there's a good situation, or the timing's right, or I even just myself have the time to do that. But I trade for the time freedom aspect of trading, so I focus on quality over quantity. But anyways, with this Euro USD setup, you might be hard to see if you're on your phone. I recommend being on your computer looking at this, but you'll see I drew out this basic thing that I want Euro USD to do. Okay, at the time you can see the price right here. We were at 113.11. And I drew a little arrow on the weekly that went down to about 112.50-ish. And I said I think Euro USD is going to go down a little bit. But ultimately, I don't really care about the downside on Euro USD. Even though I knew it would happen, I was expecting, I'm expecting this big move up. So good news is, if you guys obviously look at Euro USD, we can click play right now and see where Euro USD is at. we are still at the bottom of this move, okay? I'm telling you guys something similar like this is going to happen in the charts, okay? Now, is it going to go all the way up to 120? Maybe, maybe not. But is it going to continue going? Absolutely, pretty much guaranteed, okay? Now, remember, I can't guarantee anything. This isn't financial advice or investment advice. Don't take it as such. But, you know, I'm not a perfect trader by any means, but I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm a professional trader. I'm a full-time trader. I make a living off of trading. I definitely have the qualifications for analyzing the markets. I have a verified track record on my FX book, and this is a specific situation where the market, it's just too clear. It just has to happen at this point. And this is another reason why I like focusing on the higher time frames. So it's kind of hard to see on the weekly. I already clicked the play button, but you guys can see that after I clicked play, we did see some downside. So that's that red weekly candle following. So this was like 2 weeks ago because I posted this 2 weeks ago. And then last week we saw a big push up. So with Euro USD, this is it on the daily, and I just shortened this stretchy, the candle that went up to 120 just to around this area. And you can see that over the past week, week and a half, Euro USD has played out, and this is no surprise, really. I mean, that's just more of a review for if you guys are just coming on and you haven't been on the weekly outlooks. If you guys were here on last Sunday's outlook or the Sunday before that, you guys know that this has been my outlook, or even if you've been in Telegram paying attention, okay? And I don't believe necessarily in just giving you guys free handouts all the time. Like, I'll drop a couple crumbs here and there and give you guys, a free, completely do all the work for you guys, but I try to make the way for you guys to learn is I drop crumbs for you guys and hope, really the only people that are going to get like the most value and know exactly what to do are the people that watch these fully, from the beginning to the end, with not skipping or not like watching 5 minutes and then not watching the rest. The people that watch the whole thing are the ones that are profiting. And a lot of you guys messaged me last week. In fact, one of my students in particular, he also began trading for a prop firm, the same prop firm that I trade for, and he made 1% on his prop account just last week. And these prop accounts are accounts that you can only trade with 1 to 3 leverage on. So having 1 to 3 leverage, but being able to make 1% on account in a week off of this analysis is really incredible. So I was really proud of that student. But anyways, I mean, guys, in short, this is what I think Euro USD is going to continue doing, right? Is this weekly outlook with this, is this big long, okay? Euro USD is going to continue to going up, and this is a result of a weak US dollar, okay? The fundamental backing side of this, there's a lot of technical backing, and if you want to know the technical backing, you want to know why I'm looking at selling, why I believe the Euro USD is at a nice distribution area, or at a nice accumulation area, and we have the dollar index at a nice distribution area, and we have the markets just unwrapping. Go and watch the previous weekly outlooks. Okay, if you guys just go to the most recent, let's say like the most 5 recent videos that I have on my YouTube, as of right now, you'll know everything you need to know about where I stand and why I stand here. Okay, so I'd love every single week to just, sit here for 30 minutes and re-explain every week why I'm bearish on the US dollar. But I've already done that, guys. So just know that I'm bearish on the US dollar. And if you don't know why and you want to know more, watch a previous outlook, okay? But the dollar index, I'm short on the dollar index. I'm long on Euro USD. These are what I'm expecting to happen. And here's my bias with Euro USD. If you want like a shorter, maybe like intra-week type trade for this week, if you have not already gotten into a buy on Euro USD, if you did not buy at these lows from last week, wait, okay? Do not chase buys at these highs, because this is an area where we're probably going to see some sort of correction, okay? When I'm on the weekly chart, guys, let me go here one more time. And you guys see this arrow, use some logic. Like, I'm not saying like I think it's just going to go straight up in like 3 weeks. It's going to go up like 700 pips or anything like that. Like, it's going to go up in waves. So as we've already had a really strong breakout, we're probably going to drop a little bit. I wouldn't even be surprised if we correct back towards 113 and then maybe bounce off of the support around 113 and then continue going higher. That's going to be your best opportunity. But wait for a correction. Absolutely. Don't chase buys, because the market makers, they want retail traders to chase buys right now, because You guys know it's so funny. I've been telling you guys literally, if you just go back and watch like a weekly outlook from 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, I've been calling it every single week that I believe Euro USD has to make a strong move up before going lower. And so literally it's like this, like I see this whole shift online. I see everybody when it was low like 4 weeks ago, everybody's like sell Euro USD, sell Euro USD, it's gonna keep going. And I'm like, guys, it can't keep going lower. It's such at extreme lows. It's so not just that it's oversold, that it's at extreme lows and it has to go up. Not just that mentality, but there's a lot of other things that I've like I said, I've talked about. Go watch past webinars. But and now what's happening is if you go on social media, now there's even like news outlets and in all sorts of places that are saying, oh, Euro USD is starting to pick up bullish momentum. So what's going to happen now? All of these news outlets are reporting that Euro USD is going to be a buy, and then what could happen this week? We see a drop in Euro USD because now everybody's going to be it's like retail traders are always going to be on the wrong side of the market if you don't know what you're looking at. It's like this week, Euro USD is still bullish, right? Ultimately, it's bullish, but this is more of, I think, like a corrective phase this week on Euro USD for an opportunity to get in higher. I don't think that the momentum on Euro USD, although we have like this nice bullish engulfing candle on the weekly, that just signifies that there's like, strong bullish momentum, but it doesn't, this is the weekly chart. It doesn't mean that, let's say the next 72 hours in the market, we see like a drop towards 113 because the markets have been really volatile. We saw it move like just in a 24-hour period. We saw Euro USD move 75 pips last week. And then just the full accumulation from the lows, just a really nice pop up in 1 week of 200 pips on Euro USD. So I just find it interesting. I've been calling this stuff for a while now. And all of these pairs too, like I want to look at gold for a second. And for those of you guys that are maybe new to following me, this isn't going to be relevant to you guys at all. But for those of you guys that have been following me for a while now, you'll remember that earlier this year, and I'm going to find the post in Telegram. I don't even know if I actually put it in Telegram, but I'm going to find, I'm not going to actually go and pull an audio clip or anything like that. But if you were here 6 months ago at the beginning of this year, I told you guys, so this is the weekly chart of gold. I told you guys that gold would have no problem breaking the multi-year highs at the time. And this is the multi-year highs is where this blue zone is at. It's around like 1370, 1360 areas where these highs are at. And you can see where we are now just the past 2 weeks. We broke up. We're now at 1426. Gold will go higher, guys. I'm telling you, do not chase shorts on gold. It's so disgusting. I see and just what's disgusting is just like kind of like the mentality that people have. Like people just like are so blinded by greed and wanting to just flip accounts and it's just greed at the end of the day. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. People are just blinded by greed so much that they throw away like understanding and like being analytical about what they're doing just because they just want to make money. They don't even care. They don't even know why they're taking shorts. And it's so crazy. I see everybody just calling shorts on gold and everybody just keeps getting screwed there. Everybody's just blowing accounts and over leveraging sells on gold. And guys, gold is not going to stop. Gold is going to keep going. 1500 at least. That's easy. Okay. I didn't think, I knew gold would break the multi-year highs. I knew it would break this. Like, let me just give you guys an example. This is literally how Forex is, guys, how simple Forex is. Look at this consolidation that gold is in. Gold has been in consolidation for 8 years, okay? Look at this. From 2012, I guess like 7 years. From 2012, 2013, we've just been completely sideways on gold. We really haven't moved. Look at that before, right? Look at like the 5 years before, the past 6 or 7 years, right? Major trending markets. This is something I was talking about with my students the other day. Same thing with something with Euro USD. If you guys are just coming into trading in the past 6 months or past year or even past 2 or 3 years, you need to condition yourself to the entirety of the markets and realize like the markets as a whole, we've been very consolidative. A lot of pairs have not been trending over the past couple of years. We've been stuck in these like major consolidative moves. So, like just something with gold, you can look at it from a distance and say, okay, at some point it's going to continue going up higher. just from a technical standpoint. So gold is going to keep going. Don't short gold, guys. Just don't short gold. It's as simple as that. It's going to keep going to 1500. If you guys are holding buys on gold, keep holding them. It's going to keep going. Okay. Let's see, just some people in the comments. Thanks for the invite, no problem. Brett, you said, as always, very insightful. Thank you, David, no problem. Thank you for the compliment. Ashley, you do have a link to the MyFX book. It should be in the description. If it's not in the description for whatever reason, it's if you're friends with me on Facebook, or even if you're not friends with me on Facebook, it's in the link in my bio. It's all over the place. It's in the link on the group info on Telegram. But if you can't find it after searching all those places, just message me and I'll send it to you. But yeah, it's public for you guys to see. It updates live. It's connected straight to my MetaTrader 4 account. But anyways, with gold, yeah, gold's going to keep going. Euro USD will keep going higher. USD Swiss franc, I mean, I've been calling it, right? Because USD Swiss franc does the opposite of Euro USD. So Euro USD up, USD Swiss franc down. Okay, very simple correlation, guys. Very, very, very simple correlation. So USD Swiss franc will keep dropping. Dollar yen, guys, this was like such a simple, not simple, but textbook price action last week. Those of you guys that were on the weekly outlook 1 week ago, you could have made money on this. Because you can see where we were at the time, right? Look at this ginormous bear flag. Like I can barely fit the bear flag on the 4-hour chart right here. Like it looks better on the daily, but it broke down lower. And one thing that I went over with my students last week was where it would go down to, which was also a previous target. So we can see previously, and this is something I go deeper in on my course and with my students with, but we used our extension levels to figure out how we knew it was going to drop to like the 107.20 area. And that was because we were able to use extensions previously and see that dollar yen was respecting the extension levels. We bounced at the 161 extension previously. So we knew that there is a good chance that on another break lower, that would repeat similar price action, that from wherever we corrected to the highs, which happens to be right there about 108.80, we could figure out that we'd probably find some support at 107.20. And so that's something that we actually discussed if you're a student of mine and you go back and you watch Monday's webinar, Monday's daily webinar that I do with my students. We called dollar yen dropping down to 107.80 first, and then on Tuesday's webinar we called it dropping down to 107.20. And price followed through perfectly with that. And we almost had like almost an equal drop on both of these. We can see from this first leg down, it's about 150 pips, and this second leg down about 150 pips. So a lot of confluence with, I mean, as like I guess as far as like reasoning as to why dollar yen stopped where it did. Okay, and same thing with dollar yen, right? If you didn't catch the short, if you haven't been short already, that's fine. It's going to continue dropping, I almost guarantee it. Just wait for a pullback, wait for a correction like Euro USD. Okay, and final regular pair is USD CAD, guys. I'm telling you guys, USD CAD is going to tank. Okay, USD CAD is going to tank at least down to 129. I'm calling it. Okay, right here. All right, write it down. Throw it on your whiteboard, go print a giant poster, throw it on, tape it to your ceiling so you look at it every morning when you open your eyes and you wake up. USD CAD is going to 129, okay? Not actually, but like that's how confident I am with this type of thing, okay? So hold your shorts on USD CAD. If you're not short already, wait for a pullback. It's going to keep going to 129. No doubt about it. Absolutely. I mean, it just has to. There's something about, like, I just can't explain it in, unfortunately, like I would love to just sit here and explain my brain to you guys for like 20 hours straight, but I can't. So all I can tell you guys is, you guys that are experienced in the market and you guys that come on here and use me as just like a double confirmation and already have a lot of experience in the market, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys know why. You guys can see it. I mean, it's something that you can even see right here on the weekly chart. USD CAD is going to drop. It doesn't even take like a lot of analysis, guys, and that's why I think like Forex is too hyped up, that people will get too distracted by the day trading aspects and all, taking a million trades and catching a million pips a week. And it's not even about the pips. It's about the percentages at the end of the day. Like when you trade stocks, like if you go get a stockbrokers and you have or like a stock advisor and you have somebody that's going to go and invest your money into the stock market. You don't say, his name's Carl. You don't go and call up you to say, "Hey Carl, how many pips are you catching for me this week in the market or this month in the market?" No, you're talking to Carl and your advisors on a percentage basis. Okay, we're looking to make 15% returns this year, 10% returns this year. So why is it? There's this stigma with this disconnect with Forex, and I don't like it. I don't like it. So I don't think that that's the way it should be. But that's what I think. And then last thing, this isn't necessarily a pair. I mean, it is oil. It's an instrument. I haven't been interested in oil for a little bit because for the past couple weeks, or like 2 weeks or so, I guess 2.5, 3 weeks, we've been inside of this range, which just so happens, if you see where these two green bars stretch back to this. So you're just going to have to believe me if you weren't around in February. But back in February, these green bars were here and just stopped right here. Okay, so these green bars are not new. I've just extended them because now we're back to this range, and that's why I believe in and am so. I put a very strong importance on horizontal support and resistance, basically supply and demand. And we can see that oil was in this range. Even my students will know last week when we covered oil at various times last week, I wasn't interested until we broke up. And so I do think oil can continue doing well. I mean, oil and gold both have a similar correlation. Right now, gold isn't technically a commodity. Okay, technically, gold is what? It's a metal, right? It's a metal. Oil is a commodity. I mean, there's also a discussion, a gray area with if what is oil considered? Is it considered a commodity or is it not? But yeah. Anyways, just the point I'm trying to make is that oil and gold, this is not like any sort of correlation like Euro USD and the dollar index, but they have a fairly positive correlation, right? When there's a lot of indecision going on in the markets, we'll usually tend to see things like oil and things like gold rise. Okay, now oil isn't really treated like a safe haven like gold is. So gold is, we know that when we talk about safe havens, we're talking about gold, the Japanese yen, and the Swiss franc, right? Those are three different markets that tend to strengthen when we're talking about like uncertainty and indecision in the market. Not so much oil, but it does have that correlation to it, okay? But not like that safe haven correlation. Also, another thing for oil too is the OPEC meetings that are starting tomorrow, okay? So we'll see what's going on with that, all right? But that's going to just about do it. It looks like I actually really appreciate you guys on here today. It looks like there were a lot of people attending, so I appreciate your guys' attention. If you have made it this far in the video and you've not already smashed that like button, if you got any sort of value out of today that you think that you can use to make money in the market, please smash that like button, guys. It helps me out a lot, and I seriously appreciate you guys' support. We've been smashing like 30 likes, 30, almost 40 likes consistently on these videos, which is really good compared to the views for like an average channel. So I'm really excited to just continue delivering content. I also know a couple of weeks ago I had mentioned that I was considering stopping these weekly outlooks, but I don't think I'm going to stop them anytime soon. I had a little bit of a change of heart, just had to do some thinking and figure out what would work. So I will continue doing these weekly outlooks as of now, but I know that there's a lot. After that video, guys, I got so many messages. I got like so many messages from you guys saying how how bummed you guys were gonna be basically if I stopped doing those. So I now realize that there are quite a bit of you guys that do watch them. So I appreciate you guys. But yeah, Samir, thank you so much. Yes, Samir, you're one of my people that I'm training right now over the next 6 weeks. That's also, if you guys just want to hear any updates really quickly on my end. So basically, this past Saturday, I started a 6-week training program with a handful of students. Samir, you're in the chat. I see Samir is one of them. I don't see anybody else commented in the chat, but maybe there's someone else popping in there. But a couple of you guys I'm working with over the next 6 weeks, hands-on, personally with live training you guys, taking you guys from knowing nothing, or maybe taking those puzzle pieces and connecting them, but basically just turning you guys into beast traders. So I'm going to be doing that until the end of July over the next 6 weeks. I think of the last week or the last day that I meet with those people are on July 28th. So if you didn't get a chance to be a part of this 6-week class, this boot camp, this workshop that I held, and you are interested in something like that, I am going to be doing these in the future. So be looking out for that. And also stay tuned for a special announcement because I'm also going to be doing I'm going to be announcing something special. Going to be doing a little event out here in Arizona in August, and it's going to be really, really limited to a couple of people. So yeah, just really like mentoring people and working with people in a hands-on like workshop environment where I'm able to make sure that people are comprehending what's going on, and I'm able to really kind of help people and take them by the hand and show them the ropes of trading and show them exactly how I trade. So those are just some things that are going on my end. But also, if you're a student of mine, if you're one of my students that hop on my daily webinars Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays of every single week, every month, every year, I am doing a duo webinar where I'm going to be having a guest on Wednesday's webinar. We're going to be having our co-founder Louie, who's going to be hosting Wednesday's webinar with me. So be excited for that. If you guys check the poll in the private chat and just do a little bit of a vote on there of what you want him to cover on Wednesday, that would be awesome. But other than that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you guys are very clear and know that I am bearish on the US dollar, that Euro USD will continue going up hundreds and hundreds of pips. It will keep going. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to always reach out to me. I'll find a time to reply sometime throughout the week, always to you. But other than that, students, I will see you on tomorrow's. Actually, I'll see you guys in a couple hours because I'm going to do a private daily webinar with you guys in about an hour and a half here with y'all. And then everybody else, if you're not a student, you consume all this free content. That is awesome. I appreciate you guys so much for your time, and I will see you all on next Sunday's Outlook. Take care, guys. Have a safe trading week, and see you guys later. Take care.